Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Will Cristiano Ronaldo make a return to Manchester United? Now Cristiano Ronaldo will quit Juventus if they fail to qualify for next season's Champions League. Now the Italian outlet Gazzetta dello Sport recently said that Manchester United made contact with Cristiano Ronaldo's agent over a return this summer, and Juventus are demanding just £26 million. Cristiano Ronaldo's salary is £27 million a year. That will have to be cut in half if he is to rejoin Manchester United. Now, we had Cristiano Ronaldo for 6 years. He was with us from 2003 to 2009. During his time with us, he won 3 Premier Leagues, he won the Champions League, he won the FA Cup, he also won the League Cup, and he won the FIFA Club World Cup. We paid £12 million for him from Sporting Lisbon in 2003. We sold him in 2009 to Real Madrid. Real Madrid paid £80 million for him, so we did make a £68 million profit. He was at Real Madrid for like 10 years. Obviously, Juventus got him in 2018. They paid £100 million, and his current contract at Juventus expires next year. Cristiano Ronaldo's won 31 major honours in his playing career, and he's won 5 Ballon d'Ors, and he is regarded as one of the best players in the world. Italian reports said earlier on this season that there could be a swap deal involving Cristiano Ronaldo and Paul Pogba. I presume a lot of Manchester United fans would take Cristiano Ronaldo back at the club despite him being the age of 36. Now, I want to give you some more news regarding Raphael Varane. So, Manchester United end Raphael Varane interest. Raphael Varane insists his future is clear. Now, it recently said we'd been handed a boost in our pursuit of Raphael Varane, because it said, Real Madrid are closing in on the signing of David Alaba from Bayern Munich. And it says that Raphael Varane prefers a move to Manchester United over PSG. So he actually wants to come to the Premier League. Now, it recently said that Chelsea are the favourites to sign Varane. It says, they are ahead of us and PSG in the race, and Chelsea are prepared to pay Real Madrid's 61 million asking price. Christian Falk from Bild recently said that Chelsea had entered the race. Some clubs are willing to wait until next year to get Raphael Varane. Obviously, next year he will be available on a 3 transfer. Now, reports from Spain said the other week that Man United were in advanced talks with Raphael Varane. So, reflecting on that, he said his move to Man United was close. He says, we hope to lower Real Madrid's £61 million asking price. Raphael Varane's contract talks with Real Madrid have stalled. Eduardo Inda, the Spanish transfer expert, said earlier on this season that Raphael Varane could be on his way to Man United in the summer. There was narratives coming out earlier on this season though saying that Real Madrid are prepared to sell Rafael Varane on one condition. He must inform Real Madrid on his decision to leave. Back in 2018 it says we was prepared to sanction a £100 million move. But I would certainly take Varane at Manchester United, like I've mentioned on my recent videos, is because he's a world-class centre-half, he's highly experienced, he'd dramatically improve us, and he'd complement Harry Maguire in our back line. And I can assure he would exceed expectations in the Premier League. And he's got a good pedigree behind him as a player. You know, he's won 18 major honours at Real Madrid, including the World Cup in 2018, was it? He's made over 300 appearances for Real Madrid. He's been a long-serving player at Real Madrid. He's been with them 10 years now. Real Madrid paid just €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. Now, I want to give you some news on Jesse Lingard. So, Jesse Lingard wants to leave Manchester United on a permanent basis. Now, obviously, Lingard is out on loan at the moment with West Ham. West Ham paid us a loan fee of £3 million. He's made a fantastic impact since he's gone out on loan to West Ham. You know, West Ham want to get him permanently. It said earlier on this season that we set our asking price for Jesse Lingard and it was between 25 million to 30 million. He said as well earlier on this season that we was interested in a swap deal involving Declan Rice and Jesse Lingard. Now, Solskjaer did say not so long ago that Jesse Lingard has got a future at Manchester United. And Solskjaer confirmed that Man United want him back. He did say earlier on this season that we was open to a sensational return for Lingard. And it said, you know, we could give him a new 3-year contract. I think Jesse Lingard's current contract with us expires very, very soon. The main explanation we loaned Jesse Lingard out is because he got frozen out of our squad. I think he's only made like 3 appearances for us this season, obviously before he went out on loan to West Ham. Don't forget there was a period when he was with us where he didn't score 1 goal in the Premier League or register 1 assist in the Premier League for over a year. But, you know, Lingard has, you know, been at Man United a long time. You know, don't forget he came up our youth setup. He's had quite a few loan spells. I think this is his 5th loan spell now at West Ham. Because obviously before he was at Leicester, he's been at Birmingham, he's been at Brighton on loan, and he's also been at Derby on loan. I think it would be the right decision to get rid of him permanently. So there you go. And just want to give you some news, by the way, on Erling Haaland. According to recent reports, Manchester United can sign Jadon Sancho for less than £156 million. Dortmund have obviously been demanding £156 million. Now, it said the other week that Man United were relying on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's close bond with Haaland to secure the signing of the player. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's already won Man United over the Erling Haaland transfer. Michael Zorg, Borussia Dortmund's sporting director, he said not so long ago that he's adamant that Haaland will be at Dortmund next season. The Athletic said earlier on this season that we actually cooled our interest in Erling Haaland following Mini Oriola's roadshow. But the Athletic did say that we are one of the clubs that can afford him. His agent Mini Oriola and his father Al Finch Haaland earlier on this season flew to England to hold talks with several Premier League clubs. They've also held talks with Barcelona and Real Madrid. He actually said we declined to meet Erling Haaland's agent Mini Oriola over discussing a possible deal. The main explanations I take Erling Haaland at Manchester United is because he knows Ole Gunnar Solskjaer well. Solskjaer was the one that gave him his debut at just the age of 16 at Molde. Plus, he's still young and he's got a lot of development in him, and he would assure us goals and he would exceed expectations in the Premier League, so they are the reasons. Said earlier on this season that Solskjaer kept calling Erling Haaland to persuade him to join Manchester United. Because he said earlier on this season that Ole was following Erling Haaland's progress and keeping in touch with the player. Solskjaer also did reveal how impressed he was with Erling Haaland's training during his time at Molde, but he made an admission saying that he struggled with bad knees at Molde. And back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Erling Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. So it'd be good to see Solskjaer reunite with the player. Haaland has a £68 million release clause, but he doesn't become active until next year. He's under contract with Dortmund till 2024. Dortmund paid just, £17 million for him from Red Bull Salzburg. But we've looked at a few strikers, haven't we? You already know the news on Jadon Sancho. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is aware of how big this year's summer transfer window is going to be for himself and Manchester United in general. The summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Manchester United manager. And I can assure Solskjaer will be Manchester United manager in the summer transfer window. And he'll be Man United manager next season, because we've already made it clear that Solskjaer will not be sacked even if we fail to win the Europa League. Solskjaer should get the backing he deserves in the summer transfer window, because obviously we've got John Murtough, he's our director of football, and obviously we've got Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director. In the summer transfer window, I'm expecting Man United to make around 3 or 4 signings, and I've already identified the areas in the squad where we need to strengthen it up. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer did warn that we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic, but he said he's interested in bringing in players that will be a perfect fit for the club. It's said earlier on this season, though, that Man United are expected to spend big in the summer transfer window, but Solskjaer did mention that he wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. And recently, Solskjaer got forced by Man United to change his transfer plans. But in the summer transfer window, we're going to focus on the incomings and the outgoings. You know, quite a few players are going to leave us in the summer transfer window. Now, it looks very, very likely that Edinson Cavani is going to be leaving. Solskjaer did recently say, though, that Edinson Cavani's future has not 100% been decided. But Solskjaer recently hinted Cavani to leave in the summer. Now, Cavani recently put a transfer request in because he recently had a meeting with Man United, and he's asked to leave Man United to join Boca Juniors. Now, Footballer Insider said earlier on this season that Edinson Cavani is willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors. Said he's already got a verbal agreement with them, and Boca Juniors are willing to offer him a 3-year contract. And Marcus Rojo, not so long ago, held talks with Edison Cavani over a move to Boca Juniors. Marcus Rojo is a former Manchester United player. But earlier on this season, it said that we'd held talks with Edison Cavani over his future at the club, and Solskjaer said prior to the Tottenham game he was unsure over Cavani's future. A lot of Manchester United fans would like Cavani to stay for next season because obviously he's made a fantastic impact since he's come in. In a lot of his games, his hold-up play's been good, his movement in and around the box has been good, he's created chances and he's scored very, very good goals. Cavani's current contract expires at the end of the season, but there's an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Cavani sustained a few injuries at Man United. We got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a second year. And he's got a good pedigree behind him as a player because he did very well at PSG and he was a long-serving player at PSG. Edison Cavani's father came out though earlier on this season and revealed that Edison Cavani is unhappy, he doesn't feel comfortable in England and he wants to leave. A lot of United fans are saying that we need to offload Anthony Martial in the summer because he's been out of form for the vast majority of this season. The chances have been there for him, but he hasn't converted them. He's no longer good enough to represent the club. So if we sell Martial, it'll be the right decision by the club. I reckon if we sell him in the summer transfer window, we'll get around 30 million. Martial's got a knee injury at the moment, and it's very, very likely he's going to be out for the remainder of the season. Solskjaer confirmed that not so long ago, and Martial sustained this knee injury whilst he was on international duty with France. Martial's been at the club over 5 years now. We got him in a deal worth 54 million from Monaco in 2015. I reckon he's had 2 good seasons. Good last season and good in his debut season under Van Gaal. And I think it was last season Solskjaer giving that number 9 shirt. Juan Mata, I'm also expecting us to offload him because his current contract expires in June. There is an option to trigger his contract for a further year. And plus Juan Mata doesn't get in our 11 anyway. And my element of concern about him, he's lost that yard of pace and he's like, 34, 35 now. Towards the start of this season, he rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Juan Mata's had a pretty good career at Man United. He's been at the club over 6 years now. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 50 goals. And we got him in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. Donny van der Beek, I think we should offload him in the summer transfer window. The main explanation is because he's not getting enough opportunities at Manchester United. Most of Donny van der Beek's appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season, and earlier on this season it said we was considering a Donny van der Beek swap deal. There was talks of an Adrian Rabiot and Donny van der Beek swap deal. Ronald de Boer earlier on this season backed Donny van der Beek to be a success at Man United, and he also said he still feels loved at the club despite his lack of game time. He had showdown. He wanted to have showdown talks with Ed Woodward regarding his future earlier on this season because it said Van der Beek wanted to quit Man United after 1 season due to his lack of game time. ESPN said back in January that we rejected several loan offers for Van der Beek because we was reluctant to let him go. We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Ajax last summer, and he's versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. Nemanja Matic, I'm also expecting us to offload him in the summer transfer window because he's not one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances, does Matic. Analysing the vast majority of his games at Man United, he's been inconsistent. But there's been some games where he showed consistency. I think the club made a mistake by giving him that new 3-year contract before the start of this season. We got Matic in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. But I've always had my strong reservations about him, like I've said before, because he's always been a slow player and he's too easily predictable as well. You know, Paul Pogba, he could still leave Man United in the summer transfer window, but I want him to stay potentially past the summer because, one, we've been getting the best out of Pogba in recent months, and two, we've been creativity to the team, and he's just in general an imperative player. Phil Jones, I'm expecting us to offload him because he doesn't get in our 11, plus he's always been inconsistent. He's the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. This is his 10th season at Man United. So he's been a long servant. He's been out of injury now for like 14, 15 months. Diego Dalot, I'm expecting us to get rid of him permanently. You know, he's out on loan with Milan at the moment. Romero, I'm expecting us to offload him because he's like our third or fourth choice keeper now. And De Gea, we could still sell him in the summer transfer window. And Alex Telles, he recently said that he's decided to leave Man United. Calcio Mercato recently said that Juventus are interested and Juventus are willing to offer Adrian Rabiot in a swap deal for Alex Telles. You know, Alex Telles has played nowhere near as much as I expected. You know, when we got Telles, I expected him to be our first choice left back immediately, but hasn't happened. We got him in a deal worth 15.4 million from Porto. Yeah, you know, we sell players in the summer transfer window. We're obviously going to generate money and it's going to help us with our rebuilding process. There's also a lot of players that Man United will keep in the summer transfer window. And I reckon there's quite a few players that have got long-term futures at the club. You know, we'll keep Dean Henderson, definitely. I think Dean Henderson's a long-term future for Man United. You know, in a lot of Dean Henderson's games, he's done well. He's kept clean sheets. He's made good saves. His distribution's been good. And he's made very, very good aerial claims. Weren't so good against Burnley, though, the other week. He looked very, very shaky when he was off his line. But I think he's now our number one. And if he is, it's the right decision by Man United because he has got that experience behind him. Don't forget he did endure 2 successful loans with Sheffield and he's also had other loan spells before. Before the start of this season, Dean Henderson signed a 6-year contract with the club, so reflecting on that, he committed his future with Man United. Luke Shaw, he'll obviously stay. Luke Shaw has been our best player this season. You know, he's showed very good attacking intent. He's provided width. Defensively, he's been superb. He's got into very good positions and his crossing's been good and he's created chances for his teammates. And Luke Shaw's had a good career at Man United despite his injuries. He's been at the club now over 6 years. I reckon he's been the best left back in the Premier League this season, definitely. By the way, Man United are set to offer Luke Shaw a new 5-year contract worth around £180,000 a week. So we're set to give him a £30,000 pay rise. I think Shaw's just got over 2 years left on his current contract. Harry Maguire, he'll also stay. I'm not too sure about long term though. Harry Maguire has enjoyed some good games this season, but he's also enjoyed poor games as well. But he wasn't worth the £80 million we got him for from Leicester. We overpaid for him, you know, he's the second most expensive signing behind Paul Pogba and he's the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment. Victor Lindelof, we'll keep him. I don't think he'll be with us long term though. You know, he's been at the club already a few years. We got him in a deal worth 31 million from Benfica back in 2017. Lindelof, to his credit, though, has done quite well recently. Merrick Bailly, we know now that he's staying. because it was confirmed yesterday that Eric Bailly signed a new contract with Manchester United until 2024. There is an option of a further year. Eric Bailly did have like 1 year left on his current deal before he signed that new contract. I think Bailly signed a new contract because he believes he's going to get his way back into the team, because Bailly did say earlier on this season he wants assurances over his playing time before he decides whether he's going to sign a new contract or not. Bailly has just come back from COVID, and my element of concern about him is injury prone, but that is my only element of concern about him. We got Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016. We paid £30 million for him. And Wan-Bissaka, he'll also stay at the football club. I think he's going to be with us long term. He's just got to show more attacking intent as Wan-Bissaka. Defensively, he's always been superb, more or less. There's been some games where he's attacked well, but he's got to do it persistently. But he's had some poor games as well, Bissaka, where he hasn't got forward enough. He's been too easily predictable. He's been caught out as well. This has been his second full season at Man United. We got him in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace in the summer of 2019. Obviously, McTominay will keep him. You know, McTominay's still young. He's got a lot of development in him. But he's not on that level yet where I want him to be at. Can he emulate that level? Probably not. But I think McTominay is a decent player. I think his best game this season was the 6-2 win against Leeds. You know, he actually scored twice in that game and he made the difference. Just after the first lockdown last year, McTominay signed a 5-year contract with Manchester United. Fred, I think we'll also keep him, but probably not long term. Fred's had some good games at Man United, but he's also enjoyed poor games as well. We certainly overpaid for him. We got him in a deal worth £52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk. Like I said, we could keep Paul Pogba, potentially past the summer. Bruno Fernandes, he'll obviously stay at Manchester United. It recently said that Bruno Fernandes will sign a new contract at Man United and stay at the club, but only if Paul Pogba commits his future to Man United. So Paul Pogba is key to Bruno Fernandes signing a new contract, because it said earlier on this season that Fernandes was refusing to sign a new contract until he had assurances over the club's transfer plans. Fernandes' current contract expires in 2025. There's an option to extend for a further year. You know, we initially paid £47 million for him, but the overall cost with add-ons is just over £67 million. And he's been at the club over a year now. Fernandes has won Player of the Month quite a few times, reflecting on his good performances. In a lot of his games at Man United, he's been consistent, but there's been quite a few games where he's looked off the pace. But we have overplayed him, and I did mention at some point he does need a rest. He's our best player, and he's the best signing we've made since Ferguson retired, because he has made a difference in the team. Greenwood will obviously stay. I reckon he's long term for Man United. He's been superb in a lot of his games since he broke into our first team squad. And Marcus Rashford, he'll also stay as well. Daniel James will probably stay potentially past the summer, because he's actually got his way back into the team. In the last month or so, he's played quite a lot of football, but he was out of our team for a while, was James. So there you go, and you already know the news regarding the Glazers. Man United fans recently protested against the Glazer family outside Old Trafford, and our fans burnt the American flag. And our fans will protest against the Glazers before our game against Liverpool on Sunday. Not so long ago, our fans protested against the Glazers at Carrington, and some of our fans blocked entrances into the Carrington training ground. And there was banners that said MUFC 20, 51% and Glazers out. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer insists that the Glazer family will not sell Man United. Prior to that, he told protesters that Joe Glazer loves the club, and the Red Knights have told the Glazers to sell Man United. The Glazers want £4 billion to sell the club. They recently said sorry, did the Glazers, over the European Super League plans. It'd be the right decision by Man United to get the Glazers out. Because I hate the way the football club has been run now for a while. The Glazers have been with us like 16 years. You know, they've been with us since 2005. So we need to recommend new owners in. You already know the news regarding Ed Woodward. It says that Ed Woodward will choose Manchester United's next chief executive. And he said, you know, there could be 5 candidates Manchester United could look at to replace him. And apparently Edwin van der Sar is the favourite to replace Ed Woodward. It got announced last week that Ed Woodward has resigned as Manchester United vice chairman, and he will stand down at the end of the year. Ed Woodward has had a 16-year association with the club, but I presume all United fans would have been delighted with the news regarding Woodward last week, because we've been critical of Woodward for a long time. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.